What's going on, everyone? Coming back to you all with yet another knife video. This one is a comparison between the Civivi Elementum and the Kizer Vanguard Infinity. I've done reviews on both of these two knives if you want to see in-depth information on each one, but I'm going to be basically comparing these here head-to-head to see which one is the better bang for your buck. Now, this is the Damascus and layered carbon fiber version of the Elementum. I will reference this version and the standard D2 version throughout the video. And here I am showing the back flipper version of the Kizer Infinity. However, there are also front flipper variants, which I will mention throughout the video as well. So, which one of these two knives is better for your money? Well, they're both very similar in size, they're similar in design, and they're similar in overall price point. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The Civivi has a 2.9-inch blade, drop point design that is hollow ground, made out of either D2 steel for the standard version or Damascus steel for this version. And the Damascus here is believed to be a 9CR and 10CR combination. So essentially, VG10 and 440B is believed to be the layering for that. While the Kizer Vanguard Infinity has a 2.9-inch blade made out of Bowler N690 steel, it has a Celtic leaf shape and it is full flat ground. So which one of these two blades is a better performer? Well, in slicing, I compared them side by side months ago, and they did fantastically. They really did both glide through material like it was nothing. But I believe that the Kizer had slightly better cutting performance. That may be because this has a more matte-coated blade, while the polishing on this Damascus blade could have introduced some drag, so the satin finish Elementum may be dead even, but I believe the Infinity was a slightly better slicer. Which one held a better edge? This one may surprise you. It was actually the Elementum. The N690 on this Infinity did a very good job, and it held up extremely well. But this Damascus was still shaving sharp after 150 passes through cardboard. The Kizer was still very sharp and still sliced paper very well, but it was no longer hair-popping razor sharp. So in terms of edge retention, in my own testing, the Damascus Elementum did a bit better. However, which would do better between the N690 and the D2 version of the Elementum, I really couldn't say. I have no experience with Civivi's D2. It could be fantastic, it could perform better, it could perform equally, or it could perform just a bit worse than the N690. So if you guys have experience with the D2 version of the Elementum or any Civivi D2 knife, comment down below how many passes it takes through cardboard before you notice the hair shaving edge beginning to dull out, so that way people can know which one will have a better edge retention between the two standard models. Now, what about in terms of deployment and lockup? Well, they are both flipper tab design knives. You can see here back flipper tab on the Elementum, and either a back flipper on this version of the Infinity or a front flipper on the other two variations. I got this because I detest front flippers. I don't really think they're practical. I think they're kind of a gimmick. So this is the version that I prefer. So in terms of deployment, the Elementum comes out fast and it comes out smoothly. Riding on ball bearing pivot or a ball bearing pivot system, this thing just glides out and it locks up solid. There's no play in any direction, and if it ever developed any, I could easily adjust that pivot point. What about the Kizer Vanguard? Well, this is an area where the Vanguard definitely takes, the Infinity, where the Kizer Infinity definitely takes the cake. Also, a back flipper comes out even faster, has the smoothest action I have ever seen on a folding knife, just absolute drop shot action. Also riding on a ball bearing pivot system, and it locks up like a vault. The thing doesn't go anywhere. So between the two, the Elementum and the Kizer, in terms of deployment and lockup, I give the point to the Infinity, personally. The Elementum is good, but this is great. Handles on these, the Elementum boasts a 4-inch handle, made of your choice of either micarta or G10, or on this version, a G10 carbon fiber layer, which are actually just handle scales slapped onto stainless steel liners, which run a bit proud of the scales themselves. The Kizer Infinity or Kizer Vanguard Infinity comes in your choice of either black micarta with a back flipper tang, red micarta with a front flipper tang, or black and white G10 with a front flipper tang. So just like with the Elementum, you get your choice of micarta or G10. No carbon fiber option with this. And I want to just go ahead and say that the Elementum does have a much wider variety of colors available as compared to the Kizer Vanguard Infinity. Okay, you have 3 options here. You have, I think, literally over a dozen options with the Elementum. So, now that being said, which one is more ergonomic? They actually both have the exact same issues in terms of ergonomics in my experience. And that is that these loop-over deep carry clips tend to cause a bit of a hot spot in the palm of my hand when I'm really bearing down on the knife. That happens with the Elementum, and it happens with the Infinity. It happens to a lesser degree, however, with the Infinity, and I think part of the reason why this is just slightly more ergonomic is because this does not have proud liners. This is truly 2 micarta handle scales on top of stainless steel liners that do not run proud of the handle. You see the skeletonization in there. And again, here you can see these are just slapped on top of very proud liners. So I do find the Kizer to be slightly more ergonomic in hand than the Civivi. Not a huge deal, not by a huge amount, but I did want to mention it because it is a genuine point. However, one thing to mention is that the Civivi does have this finger choil, so you can choke up on the blade, while the Kizer does not. So you can kind of try to choke up here, but you do run the risk of cutting yourself. So in terms of ergonomics, maybe you give an extra point to Civivi for having that choke up choil. In terms of weight, they're virtually identical. The Civivi is 2.9 ounces. The Kizer is 3 ounces. Basically the same weight. Up to you if you want to give the point to Civivi for being 0.1 ounces lighter. It is lighter, technically. I mentioned the pocket clips before. They're both loop-over deep carry clips. I'll go ahead and show you how they carry in the pocket side by side. So here is the Kizer. And here is the Civivi. You can see they both carry extremely deeply. Technically a tiny bit more sticking out for the Kizer, but it really isn't a noticeable amount. One thing I want to say in favor of Civivi over Kizer here is that you do have this very large lanyard hole on the Civivi, whereas with the Kizer you have no means to attach a lanyard unless you want to try to wrap one around that standoff. It would have to be very thin cord so the tip of that blade doesn't run into it. And while we're here, let's go ahead and look at centering. It's pretty much perfect on both knives. And the fit and finish and overall quality on both knives is absolutely fantastic. I would put them at dead even in terms of how high quality both knives are. So what it all breaks down to is, which one do you personally like the look of better? And, maybe you want the color variety or the Damascus option from the Civivi. Maybe you prefer the more simplistic N690 of this over Damascus or D2. Maybe you just like the way this looks better, or you like the blade shape better. Or on the opposite side of that, maybe you like all the variety you can get the Elementum in. So which one of these two is the winner? Well, like all my comparisons, that really is up to you to decide. I was just here to show you guys the knives and let you guys pick which one you think is the better bang for your hard-earned buck. Okay, prices, if I haven't mentioned already, about $50 for a D2 Civivi, or $90 for this Damascus version, and $60 across the board for the Kizer Infinity. So they really are directly competing there in that same price range. Let me know which one you guys liked better in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was somewhat informative, and until next time, I will see you later. Peace, and take care.